Hello and welcome to the show. Now, if we added up all the properties we've featured on Homes Under the Hammer over the years, well, it must run into literally thousands. It's a staggering amount.
Absolutely, Martin. And to help us with all the action, we are joined by Dion Dublin.
Dion,
hello.
How are you?
How
Good
lovely
to
to
see
meet you. Now, I know that you're an ex-Premiership footballer turned pundit.
Yes.
But that's not all the story, is
No,
it?
not at all. Yes, 22 years as a professional footballer, but property has been a passion for years. I've bought, I've sold, but I can't wait to get stuck into Homes Under the Hammer.
Well, if you have a passion for property, you're in the right place. And if you love a bargain, well, an auction could be a great place to start.
Yes, but you need to do your homework before you stick your hand in the air.
Let's see who did just that on today's programme.
I'm kicking off today's show in Crewe, where this property on first inspection had a clean bill of health.
Well, I spoke too soon.
Whereas in North London, I reckon I found a place that would scrub up nicely. It's amazing what a good old clean can do.
As for me, I'm awash with ideas on how to give this house a fresh start. Take this out, take the fireplace out, make it symmetrical again.
All these properties have been sold at auction. We'll find out who bought them and what they paid for them when they went under the hammer.
Well done, sir.
Of course, Crewe in Cheshire is synonymous with trains. So much so that the nickname for the Crewe Alexandra football team is the Railwaymen. And trains aren't the only transport. Bentley cars are built here, so home to prestigious motors and hopefully some quality properties.
Well, £85,000 was the guide price. For what, I hear you ask? Well, 3 bedrooms, semi-detached. Looks pretty nice from the outside. Let's take a look.
Good-looking street, good-looking house, but then one problem.
I've been locked down, I've been locked in, but I always seem to come back again.
Anyone know a locksmith? Well, rather than wait around, we can cut through the spacious garage and into the even more spacious back garden. And finally, we can get inside.
Definitely one of the first things you're going to have to do is sort out the doors and windows, judging from the outside there. They are completely shot. Well, through the door there into the kitchen, probably needs to be replaced. I do actually quite like this quarry tiled floor. I want something like the colour. Maybe you could, before you rip that up, polish it maybe? Maybe not. Quite an interesting design, but then I guess that's because we're kind of coming in the property from the back, so it all feels a bit strange. Because through the kitchen there into this room here, which is just a really nice open plan living room, dining room, a really nice space. Big bay window there, lots of light flooding in. Yeah, great room, and actually it doesn't look like it needs too much work.
If I woke up in the morning and the world was back to front, there was sunshine in the evening and the moon came out for long.
So despite seeing this place back to front, I think once you're inside, it looks like this could be a rather good home for someone.
So upstairs, and good news, at least the bathroom is upstairs. Bad news is, as you can see, it's pretty tiny, only space really for a shower. So for a family house like this, not ideal. And I'm looking around thinking, how can you rejiggle the layout, maybe to get a bigger bathroom? I'm not quite sure yet. You've got a small bedroom at the back there, slightly larger bedroom in the middle, and then this landing, which is quite pleasant. Hopefully this might provide the answer. Possibly it does. This is the front bedroom. As you can see, it's a really good size. So can you divide divide this somehow to allow for a bathroom? Well, there's a window there. That's good. So maybe we can take a bit of the space in here, still keep this as a double, but get that much improved bathroom size. Something to consider. And that's about it, really. Well, I spoke too soon. Look at that! What is going on there? Now, I'm not saying that somebody has deliberately put this piece of large furniture in front of something to try and cover it up, but when you move it, well, what's behind the cupboard? That is a really nasty crack. Now let's look at the worst and best case scenarios here. What is causing that? Well, best case scenario, it's just old plaster, maybe it's dried out, maybe it's cracked over time, it's historical. Worst case scenario, that is indicating some serious structural problems with the whole front wall of the house, in which case, that's really bad.
Hide the cracks, jump back, hide the cracks.
How bad are the cracks around the room? Let's just say I'm not leaning on the walls in case we end up with a Martin Roberts-shaped hole there. I think this house needs rejigging, but it does have potential. There's a loft, so maybe develop upwards. There is a better solution to the bathroom issue outside. No, not that. I'm talking about the possibility of building an extension, a 2-storey one, and the garden would still be pretty sizable. But would it be worth it? Let's find out what an agent from the auction house who sold it thinks of this semi.
It's quite a busy road as regards to how many cars are parked on here, so big selling point is the off-road parking and the garage. Also the garden, it's a really nice size and it is quite private too. The property does need a lot of work doing too, so I can see an investor buying this property, maybe a cash buyer. I would say it needs a rewire, certainly a new central heating system, decoration throughout, and that shower room needs to be made bigger. I think a bit of a reduction in the size of that small bedroom wouldn't make a massive difference. It certainly wouldn't make a difference to the price.
The agent wouldn't recommend a loft extension unless the property was going to be kept as a home for a while. So what would the potential profit of this house, guided at £85,000, be if it was just renovated and sold on?
Once refurbished and the bathroom made a bit bigger, you'd be looking in the region of £120,000 for sale, and for rental purposes we'd be looking around £550 to £570 per calendar month.
Well, a bit of work to be done just to get it up to standard, but intrinsically it's a good house and a great one to go for. Let's see who agreed when it went under the hammer.
Traditional semi-detached house, large lounge, diner, 3 bedrooms, garage and rear garden, does require modernising. Somebody going to say to start? 70 bid, ladies bid seated at £70,000. 72 going to say now at 72. 74, 74, 76, 76, 78, 78, 80. No, at £78,000. Ladies bid seated at £78,000. I'll take one off you, sir. No, at £78,000. One anywhere up. 1, 79, 80. Another one. If not, £80,000 for the first time. Half. 80 and a half. 81, 81. Another half. Sure. 81 then, with the lady seated, £81,000 once, £81,000 twice, third and last time at £81,000. It's yours, well done.
So, for £81,000, £4,000 under the guide price, the successful bidders for the 3-bed semi in Crewe were Anne and her husband John. I met up with John to find out their plans.
John, good to meet you.
And you, Matt.
Congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Well done. Tell me why you wanted to buy this place.
I've just sold a property and I should have done this years ago.
Right.
So I decided it's not too late, have a go.
And why didn't you?
I was tied up with what I was doing for 20 years. I had a fishery.
A fishery?
Yeah, so just the land and I built it up. The big house, the lakes, that kind of thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
What kind of fish?
Coarse fish.
Okay. You mean people came and...
Holiday ticket water, yeah.
Right. What, roach and carp and
everything,
all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
And were you a fisherman yourself?
No.
All right.
No, I did it for my son years ago. He was a good fisherman.
So you built him a lake that he could fish in himself?
Well, he ran it.
Okay.
I worked.
Did you charge per fish that people catch?
No, just per day to fish, and then they put the fish back at the end of the day. Yeah, and they feed them as well.
It's a good business model,
really,
isn't it?
Of course it is.
But so that kept you for doing this then sooner, and why now then? Just because you've got a bit more time and money released?
Yeah, I was a building control officer.
Remind me exactly what that entails?
Building inspector with the local authority.
Great. Now you are definitely in the know then.
I know a bit, yeah. Let's put it that way.
Well, you certainly don't know what not to do, don't
Correct,
you?
yeah.
You will have a fishy on a little dishy. You will have a fishy when the boat comes in. You will have a fishy.
No fish jokes, I promise. John has managerial and building know-how, so this shouldn't be an upstream struggle to turn this place into a real catch. Oh, sorry, I lied.
So, what are you going to do to it?
Putting in a lick of paint, I don't think is going to work somehow. So it's a complete works, isn't it? New windows right through, new kitchen, new bathroom, extend the bathroom into the little bedroom. It's the only way to do it as far as I can see, pinch your foot. Electrics won't do it, a bit shot at, as you might say. And hopefully, yeah, we'll get there.
What about the front wall? Because it did worry me a bit. There's some cracks in the bedroom upstairs at the front.
That's only historic on plaster, I think. There's nothing structural showing outside whatsoever.
And you should know that, really.
Yes, I've seen quite a few over there.
So that's good news.
Yeah.
John's expertise is not just confined to diagnosing cracks. He used to be a joiner, so those carpentry skills are going to be used here too. He's hoping to pull this job together for £15,000 and in 3 months. With all John's experience, I think he's getting the bug for property development.
Now you've started the ball rolling, have you?
Yeah.
How many?
I don't know, just see how it goes.
Is the plan to do it up and sell it on?
Do it on, sell, move on to the next one, but have the next one ready to go at rather than be waiting.
Well, listen, congratulations.
Thanks very much.
Good luck with it.
Thanks very much, Martin.
Let's see how you get on.
No doubt we will.
Well, I think John has done really well with this property, especially getting it for that price. And it's good to know there was nothing fishy about that front wall. Is he perched on the edge of a financial success? Ooh, you can find out later in the show.
Enough of that, thanks, Martin. Right, moving swiftly on. I'm off to Childs Hill in northwest London, where I don't think there's a fish or a fisherman in sight. Despite being just a stone's throw from the swanky area of Hampstead, currently property prices are nowhere near its more affluent neighbour. So if you want to experience upmarket London living, but without the hefty price tag, well, I sense there may be an investment opportunity here. Now, I am not one to dwell on the negatives, so I'm just going to get them all out of the way now. This is a fairly busy road, so it is not the quietest place to live, and the nearest tube station is a 20-minute walk away. Now, that might not sound far to anybody living outside London, but for commuters in the capital, well, they do like to be closer than that. But on the plus side, the 2-bed flat I'm here to see had a guide price of £285,000, which sounds pretty reasonable for this area. Well, if a busy road and a walk to the station are the downs, then the guide price is definitely an up, as is the position of this flat on the top floor of this rather pleasant brick building. So, onwards and upwards. Well, it's all about the stairs in this property because there are an awful lot of them to climb. But look at this lovely, lovely banister and character as well. So I've got a good feeling straight away. It's spacious. You've got a nice big bedroom at the back, a few little steps up here. But I like the feel of this hallway. You've got some light coming through up there, which is a bonus. Another good-sized bedroom and the lounge through here. Now, the window is so disproportionate for the size of the room. That really doesn't work at all. And through here, well, a very small kitchen. So perhaps take this partition down. And if you intend to rent it out, well, you don't actually need to do too much to bring it up to standard. Yes, you might want to update those appliances and, well, perhaps install a combi boiler because that will give you more space. But I think the units are okay, as is the flooring. I think if you work with what's here, you could save yourself thousands of pounds. And it's also amazing what a good old clean can do.
Birds singing a song, old paint is peeling. This is their fresh feeling.
You could go mad and make this a top-notch London pad with all the high-end finishes if you really wanted to. Certainly the flat would benefit from being opened up, with the kitchen living room being one fab open living space. Overall though, I think it really just needs to be freshened up and given a lift. But, and I'm afraid there is a but, unfortunately, I do have another negative to tell you about. Now, it only has 70 years left on its lease. Now, that might not sound too short, but it will still reduce the resale value and it will limit the mortgage lenders who will provide the money. The lease really does need to be extended, which will mean factoring thousands of pounds extra into your budget. And I do mean thousands. Renewing the lease could cost in excess of 20 grand, which is likely to be considerably more than the refurbishment budget, so it's a big chunk on top. But extending the lease will add value, so overall, I think it would be worth doing. The good news is that a thing called a Section 42 notice has already been served to the freeholder. This means the lease can be extended straight away, rather than having to wait for the standard 2 years. That is, of course, once you've stumped up the agreed amount to get the longer lease. But what does the local estate agent make of this 2-bedroom top-floor flat?
I'm very impressed. It's in reasonably good condition. It is in need of refurbishment and redecoration. Obviously, it's on quite a busy road. You're very close to the A41. Parking, you have to have a residence permit. There's local schools, which at school times, obviously, there's a lot of parking issues and traffic.
Well, I do agree. The busy road isn't for everyone, but maybe the top floor position means that traffic isn't such an issue when you're indoors. But what about the big negative here, that relatively short lease?
The implications of property having a short lease are it limits the opportunity for people to purchase the property. It's very difficult for buyers to get a mortgage. If I was the owner of the property, I would definitely look at extending the lease, as it opens many more doors for potential purchasers.
The flat was guided at $285,000, so could it work as an investment on the resale market?
Once renovated, this property with a short lease should sell somewhere in the region of £350,000. If the owner was to extend the lease and sell the property once it was renovated, it should achieve somewhere in the region of £440,000 to £450,000.
Wow. So extending the lease could add £100,000 to its value, so it certainly looks like it would be worth doing. And what about its rental potential?
Once renovated on the rentals market, this property should achieve somewhere in the region of £1,500 per calendar month.
Yes, there are a few issues with this flat, but still, there are plenty of positives here too. It doesn't need too much work, there is money to be made, and if you do extend the lease, then the value will only go up. Let's see who felt it was one to go for when we went to auction.
Well, 109. It's a leasehold self-contained second floor flat. We have 2 bedrooms here. 260 anyway, 260. Thank you there on my left, 260 on bid here. 260 here, 265, thank you, 270, 270, 75, 75, 80, 80, 85, 85, 285, 90, right, 290 at the back, 295, 295, 300, I'll take 2.5, 97.5, 300, it's 300, and 2.5, and 2.5, and 5, no, first time at 300 and 2.5, Second time at 302.5. Third and last time at £302,500. Standing at the back. Have we all done? One more? No.
And hidden from our camera's view, the successful bid of £302,500 for the 2-bed top-floor flat in Childs Hill, northwest London, was made by Adrian on behalf of his daughter Dominique. Dominique is a director of a property company in nearby Hampstead. She joined me back at the flat to tell me more. Dominique, congratulations.
Thank you.
You weren't at the auction, were you? So it wasn't you bidding for this?
It wasn't, no. I had my dad bidding for me, basically. I've been looking for quite a while, made offers on other properties, and I thought this was the one I really wanted.
So how involved was he with this? Because obviously he bid for it.
Yes.
And did he view it, or did you come and view it?
Do you know what? We didn't actually view it beforehand. I kind of know the area so well because I work in Hampstead and it's where I'm, based, and I know the surrounding areas. I saw a floor plan beforehand, but I never, when now I actually see it and I see the layout and, how big it is, I'm really happy with the purchase.
Dominique has been lucky with this flat. Not viewing it is a risky strategy, but she does have local knowledge and she read the legal pack. And after all, this young entrepreneur works in property. Dominique, tell me a little bit more about your property company.
Yeah, definitely. So basically, I set up the company 2 years ago. We specialise in rentals, sales, property management, investments, developments. Me personally, I specialise in the rental sector of the market. Been doing property for a long time, for about 7 years now, maybe 8 years actually.
So where does it stem from? Is it your parents?
Yeah, my dad's in property. He's got a property company himself. So when I was younger, I was always in property and, I always got a feel for what the market was like. And then slowly over the years, I've got an idea, and I've always known that I wanted to follow in his footsteps and, have my own portfolio.
Walking in your footsteps. Walking in your footsteps.
The voice of experience, and Dominique is just 27. Amazing. She might have got Dad on board to do the bidding, but this project is very much hers. So what do you think you could do to improve it?
I mean, obviously, it's mainly cosmetic works that we're looking at doing to the flat. I don't really want to put a lot of money into it. So probably, obviously re-carpet throughout, repaint. We're going to do the communal areas as well because they're, a little bit ropey, not so great. So, make that look a bit more presentable.
Yeah, good idea.
First impressions are always something that really counts to me.
What is your budget?
I mean, I would probably say, budget-wise, I'd like to spend nothing if I could, but I obviously have to spend something. I'd probably say 5,000 to 7,000, that sort of figure.
Okay, so that is relatively low.
Yeah, so that's what we're probably looking at spending.
Now, one downer is the lease. It's not everybody's cup of tea to buy a property with a rather short lease.
Yes, we are going to be extending the lease, and it is something we're going to be doing, yes, definitely.
Have you made any inquiries as to how much it's going to cost you yet?
Yes, we have made inquiries. We know, obviously, the sort of figure it's going to cost. We took everything into consideration when buying the property, so yeah.
How much roughly do you think it's going to be?
I'm not sure. I don't want to say a figure at this stage, so...
Is the cost of the lease on top of your budget of 5,000 to 7,000?
Yes, it is, yes.
Along with her £7,000 refurbishment budget, she's hoping her builders can get this ready for the letting market in 5 to 6 weeks. So Dominique, you're a director of a property company, you've got your own property portfolio, you're incredibly young. I mean, how have you got to where you are now?
Do you know what? When you're passionate about something and when you love something, it becomes natural and it just... my enthusiasm to it is just natural. It's like love. And my work is like my baby, basically. And it's something that I'm nurturing because it's a new business. And I've always had the passion from a young age. And I think over years it's just grown with experience.
And have you got your dad's experience to fall back on if you need it?
Of course. It's always great to have wise people at hand. Yeah. But, yeah, definitely I will always call him and be like, do you think this is right? What do you think on this? I think it's only normal.
Oh, Dominique, I can't wait to see how much or how little you do when we return. Well done.
Thank you.
Thank you. So Dominique might love property, but it's all about the figures and getting the best possible return. Join me later in the programme and you can find out how far she does decide to take this renovation.
Coming up, this property in Greater Manchester is a sight for sore eyes. I like it, but I like that view even more.
Back Bordiuk in North London. Has Dominique decided to go for broke?
Once you start one thing, before you know it, you do get carried away.
But first, it's back to the Cheshire town of Crewe. It was here where we saw a 3-bed semi-detached house, which certainly looked promising from the outside, with off-street parking, a garage, a good-sized rear garden, and inside, well, that was slightly harder to assess. Well, when I did finally get in, what I found was a decent house, let down only by its general decorative order, a disappointingly small shower room, and some slightly worrying cracks. But none of this was of great concern to former joiner and building inspector John, who had waited a long time for this, his first property development project.
I should have done this years ago.
Right.
So I decided it's not too late, have a go.
And why didn't you?
I was tied up with what I was doing for 20 years. I had a fishery.
A fishery?
Yeah, so just the land, and I built it up. The big house, the lakes, that kind of thing.
Wow, and were you a fisherman yourself?
No.
All right.
No, I did it for my son years ago. He was a good fisherman.
So you built him a lake that he could fish in himself?
Well, he ran it.
Okay.
I worked.
And having paid £81,000 for the house at auction, he finally had swapped working at a fishery to pursue his long-held dream of property developing.
Let's go fishing for a dream. Let's find some place new.
And with a £15,000 budget, he was hoping to get it ready to sell on in 3 months' time. And now, 5 months on, we're back to catch up on John's progress. And the outside now is looking much smarter with its new UVPC double-glazed windows and door. And there's no problem opening this one. And inside, well, it's looking fantastic. It's finished off to a high standard with furnishings and a fully fitted kitchen. In fact, it looks completely ready for someone to move into. So what's going on?
My son is going to live in it himself. So within a very short period, he will be moving in.
So a slight change of plan, with John's son Glenn so impressed with the house, he wanted it for him and his family. So, like downstairs, upstairs is furnished and finished to a high standard. And there's not a crack in sight. And the bathroom has been modified to be more suitable for family living.
It needed extending badly. There was no bath in it, and if it's a family home, you need a bath for kiddies. And yeah, it's a modern, up-to-date bathroom, and I'm really pleased.
So, really impressive. And outside's not bad either.
Stoned the back because my son's definitely not a gardener, and it looks well, it looks fine.
Well, that is the epitome of low-maintenance space. And with no need to have storage for a mower, the outside loo has been given a new lease of life.
The outside toilet. Been there many years, and we decided, and rather than just keep it as a storeroom, then we would keep it as an outside toilet. I'm not saying it's a bit of a feature, but why get rid of a toilet when you've got one? So that's how it's worked.
Fresh and clean, crisp and modern. This 3-bed semi has certainly scrubbed up well after a lot of hard work, I guess.
I put all the doors on, put the kitchen in, trades, plasterer, plumber, electrician. That's not my scope, so yeah, get the trades in to do all the work, and it's turned out fine.
John has done a great job, and he had to adapt his original plans for the house, putting in a higher spec kitchen, bathrooms and tiling, as it's going to be son Glenn's new home, which not only affected his timescale, it also had to affect his budget.
I think they said the budget was 15,000. I think we spent 25, maybe 26 on doing the property.
Well, John's son would be proud of Dad, and for a total of £107,000, I think he has a fantastic place for him and his family to live in. But what did two local estate agents make of this comprehensive refurbishment? First, the agent who saw it last time.
I think the owner's done a really nice job on this property. He's finished it with quite modern, quite contemporary fittings, nice brushed stainless steel, light switches, nice modern kitchen and a really nice bathroom.
I think the property is superb. It's really finished well. The fact that it has a good sized garden and a garage really aids the sale, and also 3 really good bedrooms.
Yes, not surprisingly, the agents are impressed, but will that be reflected in their valuations of the house that John and his son have invested £107,000 into?
On the open market, the property would sell in the region of £120,000 to £125,000.
For sale, I would put the property on the market at £125,000 to £130,000.
That's better than I thought it would be. Didn't expect it to be that much.
Well, there might be no immediate plans now to sell it on, but as an investment it's looking pretty rosy, with a possible pre-tax profit of between £13,000 and £23,000. And the agents also thought rental values of between £600 to £650 per calendar month would be possible, which would generate a yield above 6%. So, a successful project all round, I would say. What's up next for John?
The next property will be for my wife and myself. The third property will be hopefully the one where we buy and do it up and sell it. I like doing property up, and I will carry on for as long as I possibly can.
And I can't stop now.
So it seems John has caught the property developing bug, hook, line and sinker.
Slow down for no one in town, and I can't stop now for no one.
And I've got to keep going too, because there's another property to see. Just outside Oldham, in the foothills of the Pennines, lies the town of Shaw and Crompton. During the Industrial Revolution, the town was home to 48 cotton mills, and though all the mills have now closed, the town's industrial heritage is reflected in the classic brick terraces, once used to house workers. The houses in the area remain popular, not only for the shops and local amenities, but also for the convenient transport links to Manchester and nearby towns. The property I'm here to see today is one of those red brick terrace houses. It's in the middle of a street, it's 2-bed, and it's at a guide price of £50,000 to £60,000. Now, one of the things I've noticed straight away is that view. Amazing. Now that is a sturdy door. It's a very, very good start. A little porch area here, and it's always nice to have a second door as well, which will cut out all the drafts, so that's a nice start. Nice high ceilings, which I always like. Big window, retro fireplace over here, which is lovely if you like a retro fireplace and it's your kind of thing. For me, I'd take it out. A bit more space for your sofas, chairs, whatever you want to put in here. But this is a nice room to start. I'd be inclined to put some carpet down as well. I do like a soft underfoot downstairs. Through into the kitchen. First thing I can see is it's got a polystyrene ceiling. That would have to go. It's a huge fire hazard. The kitchen looks okay. It's in good condition. If you're looking to rent, maybe tidy it up a little bit, and that would be fine. Fireplace in the kitchen, which I haven't seen for some time. I'd be inclined to take this out, take the fireplace out, make it symmetrical again. Nice right angle there, and maybe bring the kitchen surface space all the way to this corner here, or even have table and chairs. But apart from that, it's a good start.
Let me stand next to your fire. Hey, let me stand next to your fire.
Well, what I've seen downstairs so far has got me quite fired up. Let's hope the rest is just as promising. So up the stairs, and then up the stairs again, to a strangely situated bathroom. It has a bath behind the door, a sink, and as you can see, the toilet. Somebody's tried to be very creative here and get an inside bathroom any way they can. Back in the old day, it would have been a tin bath and maybe just an outside toilet, so at least you've got something inside there. Through into the front bedroom. Now this is a huge front bedroom, high ceilings again, lots of floor space. It looks like it's been prepped already just to be decorated, but what I have noticed, there doesn't seem to be any central heating anywhere in this house. Hence you have a fireplace here. This is a cast iron fireplace. Now for me, I'd probably strip it back. This could be a nice sort of retro feature, which would sort of set off this bedroom. But this is big, really big. I like it, but I like that view even more. Well, I might sound like I'm being indecisive about fireplaces, but I think the two downstairs should go because they're compromising space. But this one in the bedroom is a real feature. Either way, getting central heating is a must. And one thing that would definitely have to go is that huge tank that is currently in the second bedroom. A combi boiler would create some much needed space here. Talking of space, out into a very small backyard. This building here would have been the outside toilet. It is small, it's a bit of a blank canvas. You can't get creative with a small garden like this. You could put a bit of decking down. If you wanted to level it out, you could do that, but there are costs incurred. It's small, but it could be pretty. This house is typical of the area, and the issues it presents for any would-be developer are pretty typical too. It really just needs some modernising, and I can't see any horrendous issues. What do I think? I reckon it seems a pretty solid house for the guide price of £50,000 to £60,000. To find out how it might fare in the local property market, we asked along a local estate agent.
It's lost in time, really. It now needs a revamp. It is double glazed, but that's about all. It's probably not been touched properly for 30 years, really. It's a great area. It's a popular area. It's an area where there's a good demand from both first-time buyers and people looking for properties for buy-to-lets.
OK, that's good to hear. That demand for properties in the area means that this could be a pretty safe bet. What does he think the property might be worth on the open market once renovated?
Once renovated, I'd expect it to achieve between £85,000 and £90,000.
And what kind of rental figure might be achieved?
Once it's been renovated, you'd achieve £475 per calendar month.
On first impressions, this property didn't look like it needed much done to it, but there are two things I would have to change. The bathroom could be an expense, and some central heating most definitely, but the views are amazing. Let's see who wanted to invest in those views and this property when it went to auction.
Lot number 3, 50 to 60 is your guide. Requires a lick of paint this. Start me at £50,000. At 50 here. At 50 I'm bid now in ones. 50 I'm bid. 51 anywhere. Add 50,000, 51 on the aisle, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 57 on bid, 58, 59, 60, new bidder 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, at 67 on bid, 8, here at 67, first time. 67 second time, with you, against you and against you. Third and final time, if you're all done then, at £67,000. Are we done? Well done, sir. Can I have your panel number, please? 534, congratulations.
That successful bid came from John. John was at the auction with partner Zoe. The couple have 2 children and wanted to buy the house as an investment for the future. I caught up with them to find out more. Zoe, nice to meet you, John.
Nice to meet you.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Tell us about the auction experience first and foremost. How was it?
It was good. Nerve-wracking. It was a bit fearful. It was your first time at an auction, weren't it?
Yep.
My first
How did you find it? Weird or?
Yeah, my heart was pounding. So.
Why was it pounding? Tell us why.
Before we started to bid, I was like nudging, going, bid.
Yeah, I decided to leave it at the last minute. Like, that was my strategy for the auction.
Oh, so you waited for the...
Yeah, just for the very end, really. And then Zoe was getting nervous that we'd miss out on it. But obviously the person before us thought they were going to get a steal or a bargain. But obviously they didn't. No, that's the thing.
And you snuck in?
Yeah. He's actually against a bloke we know. The kitchen fitter is going to do the kitchen. Yeah.
Kitchen fitter that we use.
That's brilliant.
Yeah, so there might be some bad news, really. Bad words between us.
And had you seen the property before? Did you know the area?
Yeah, we lived the next town over. And then we came over and viewed it. And yeah, we were quite happy with the place.
Good. And what are your plans?
Definitely the bathroom.
Yes.
Maybe add to the kitchen, change the kitchen. The windows are okay, so just decorate it throughout, really.
Okay. And do central heating?
Yeah, hopefully that's going to be going in next week. That's the plan.
You're not messing about, are you?
No, you can't really, to be honest. Like, it's going to hold all the other trades up if we don't get it in soon, so... Yeah, we'll have the electrics and the plumbers in at the same time.
If it sounds like John knows what he's doing, it's because he does. He's been involved in the property game since he left university and has renovated and sold properties on, as well as being a landlord. He's got plenty of skills, and so has Zoe. What's your part in this, Zoe? Tell us what you're...
Organising.
Are you organising more than one person or the whole lot?
Yeah, we've got someone to do tiling and lights and just people that help out, but the majority of the work will be John and me just pulling things together.
And is it something you want to continue to do? Do you want a big portfolio of houses or what's your plans?
It'd be nice, really, but it depends on the market. We've already done one property this year, so we're going to aim to do one a year, I think.
The two of them have more than enough expertise in business and property to make a success of this plan. Zoe, who's currently expecting baby number 3, leases office space for a living, while John is starting up his third printing company while doing some freelance work as well. So these two are going to be very, very busy. I'm hoping, however, they have on their very full to-do list a plan to get rid of one of my pet hates. So it's polystyrene ceilings. What are your plans for those? Obviously, they've got to go, but...
Yeah, they've got to come down. They're fire hazards, so we'll probably take them down and assess the ceiling. Well, it probably need replaster anyway, so...
Okay.
Take them down and put some new light fittings in.
And the bathroom as well, you said you want to change it. It's quite an unusual bathroom, isn't it? You go up the stairs and you go up 2 more stairs and it's on a level on its own, so what are your plans for that?
Just ripping it out, refit, really. For the area, it's actually quite a standard bathroom. Most of the terrace houses in this area have got like bathrooms like that, because originally you would have been in the backyard.
That's right.
So they had to put them in where they could. But we've done one before with the exact same layout, so we'll probably just replicate that.
And in the kitchen as well, there's a fireplace in the kitchen which is quite rare. I've not seen that for many years. It sort of takes a little bit of space in the corner. What are your intentions with that, John?
Well, we're going to weigh up the cost in terms of ripping it out, because we can build the kitchen around it, which we've done in the past. So it's just purely down to cost now, and also time. How long do you expect it to take, the work? Or want it to take? Well, realistically, we want to do it in about 7, but it's going to be more like 3 months, because we've got other commitments at the minute. And tell us about your budgets as well. What's your budget for this, hopefully? Realistically, about 7,000, but we've got a contingency up to 11. So, yeah, we should be able to get it done within them brackets. Okay, and when it's done, are you looking to sell or to rent or? Well, the rental market around here is quite strong, so we're going to keep that as an option. But then, obviously, we're going to see what the market's like when we finish. John and Zoe, good luck. I hope it turns out how you want it to, and good luck with the new baby. Thank you. Pleasure. Thank you very much. Pleasure. Zoe and John, what a lovely couple. Very level-headed, and they've done it before. Will they take that chimney breast out? How's that bathroom going to look? Will they rent or will they sell? You'll find out later on in the programme. Well, we've seen how one of today's properties got on.
What about the other two, Martin?
Can't wait.
It was in the Childs Hill area of northwest London where we first saw a 2-bedroom top-floor flat situated in a pleasant brick-faced building. This flat was, well, it was all right. With no major structural issues, it just needed a bit of zhuzhing up. With both kitchen and bathroom not really up to the expectations of the demanding London market, but you know, that was relatively easily sorted. But oh, if only things were that simple.
Unfortunately, I do have a negative to tell you about. Now, it only has 70 years left on its lease. Now, that might not sound too short, but it will still reduce the resale value and it will limit the mortgage lenders who will provide the money.
Not an ideal situation with the lease, but nothing a bit of money couldn't sort out. And for Dominique, well, this was just another property, part of her growing portfolio and a sideline to her property sales and rental business that she runs in nearby Hampstead. And this was a girl who was passionate about properties.
So where does it stem from? Is it your parents?
Yeah, my dad's in property. He's got a property company himself. So when I was younger, I was always in property and, you know, I always got a feel for what the market was like. And then slowly over the years, I've got an idea and I've always known that I wanted to follow in his footsteps and, you know, have my own portfolio.
Yes, it seemed Dominique lived and breathed property, and having paid £302,500 for it at auction, her plan was to spend just £5 to £7 grand on the cosmetic refurbishment and have it ready for her company to let out in 6 weeks. And now, just 8 weeks later, we're back to check on how she and her building team have progressed. A surprise. I didn't see that coming. I thought this was going to be, well, just a refurbishment.
So we changed the layout on this room by removing the door that was here. There was a door here. We closed it off and we changed the other section of the wall. Really happy with the changes. Wasn't going to do them. Glad I did them, and I really feel it has the wow factor.
Yes, it certainly does help. Not only does it give the kitchen a more spacious feel, but it lifts the living room too. So are there any more surprises elsewhere? Well, no, not in terms of layout, but certainly in terms of spec, with a much higher specification bathroom installed. And the bedrooms are also finished off nicely. So why has she opted for the higher quality finish?
It's very easy to get, carried away. You start making one change and then you want to make another change. You go from just wanting to change part of the kitchen, like the worktop surfaces, to wanting to change it all. It's like when you paint half of a flat, the other half looks not so great. So once you start one thing, before you know it, you've got this and that and this and that, and then, yeah, you do get carried away.
I, for one, am glad she got carried away because this flat warranted a reasonable amount of money spent on it. And it's not just inside the flat that she's worked on. She's also in the process of giving the communal areas a bit of a lift too, all of which surely must have blown her £5,000 to £7,000 budget.
We have spent more than what we originally thought. Obviously, I originally said 5,000 to 7,000. Has increased to probably about 15,000 now. So I think that's more than enough.
But it wasn't just cosmetic changes where she needed to splash the cash. There was that troublesome short lease, which not only affects the value of the flat, but also its mortgageability.
We've managed to extend the lease now, which we've added 90 years to it. We're still sort of discussing the final figure, but it's not far off around the 20,000 sort of mark.
Well, 90 years more on the lease certainly will boost the flat's appeal, but another 20,000 spend on top of her £15,000 refurbishment costs and a purchase price of £302,500 takes her total spend to £337,500. I hope it's worth it, but what did two local estate agents think?
After having a look around the property, the changes are fantastic. The quality of the refurbishment are excellent. I like the way they've opened the kitchen out slightly better than it was before. It gives a nice, modern, clean living space.
The flat works really well. The designs and the finishes is to a very high standard. Communal areas are very important. It's the first impression people get when they come in to view the flat. So if it's done to a nice standard, it will only help sort of rent or sell the property.
With Dominique's business having its own rental arm, this was always meant as a rental property. But with her £337,500 outlay, has she got herself a good investment?
In the current market today, should achieve on the sales market somewhere in the region of £410,000.
If I was to put the property on the market for sale, I'd be looking to achieve around £400,000.
I know that there was another property next door that was actually sold for £455,000. So I'd probably looking around the 440 sort of mark upwards. Sounds like a realistic figure to me.
Well, even if she got just the values the agents quoted, she could see a potential pre-tax profit of £62,500 to £72,500. That's not bad. But what about those all-important rental values?
This property on the current rental market should achieve somewhere in the region of £1,600 per calendar month.
It's probably for rental. I would look to achieve around £1,600 per calendar month.
We actually currently have it on the market at the moment with my own company, and we're marketing it at just over £1,700 a month.
Well, I'm sure she'll probably get that £1,700 per calendar month. She does know her local market after all, but even the lower £1,600 per calendar month would generate a rental yield of around 5.5%. So I guess it's just another successful project for Dominique. What words of advice would she give to anybody trying to pursue a career in the property industry?
Focus on what you want, the challenge, and what everyone else says, ignore it, in the sense that if you feel it's right, then go with it, because your gut instincts is always right and it won't let you down. That's what I found anyway.
Welcome back to Shaw and Crompton, where I was looking at a two-bed terrace with a guide price of £50,000 to £60,000. It was a good size, but I felt it needed central heating and a good modernisation. Still, one thing I didn't have to look too hard for were nice views. Just look at that scenery. The house was bought for £67,000 by John and Zoe. They planned to use it as an investment, though at auction, Zoe didn't think they'd get it at all.
My heart was pounding. So.
Why was it pounding? Tell us why.
Before we started to bid, I was like nudging, going, bid.
Yeah, I decided to leave it to the last minute. Like, that was my strategy for the auction.
Oh, so you waited for the...
Yeah, just for the very end, really. And then Zoe was getting nervous that we'd miss out on it.
Well, their auction tactics worked, and John and Zoe gave themselves 3 months and £7,000 to get the inside of this terrace as picturesque as the outside. They could afford to run over on budget, but not on schedule, as Zoe was pregnant with the couple's third child.
Here comes my baby, here she comes now. Here comes my baby, here she comes now.
A little over 2 months later, and we've returned. So they've stuck to that timescale, assuming the house is finished, of course. I think it's safe to say yes. John and Zoe have completely modernised the old, tired terrace, and I particularly like that new kitchen.
So in here, we took down the chimney that was in the corner. It made the kitchen more square. Then we replastered everywhere, put in some new lighting. We then tiled it with these, and Zoe's picked a really nice kitchen and really nice worktops that go with the tiles.
And hiding in one of those lovely new kitchen cupboards is a lovely new combi boiler, providing that much needed central heating. It also meant that they were able to get rid of that huge cylinder in the second bedroom, creating more space. And what about that master bedroom?
There was a cupboard that was built into one of the recess corners in the main bedroom, so that was one of the first things that John ripped out.
Yeah.
We decided to make a feature of the fireplace. We were going to leave it originally anyway, but I saw the metallic coloured paint and I thought maybe that'd be a nice match into the paint colour.
It looks modern and cosy, but I think the biggest transformation upstairs has happened in the bathroom. John's completely overhauled it with new suite, new plumbing, new tiles, a fresh coat of paint, and what a difference it's made. John's been in nearly every day doing almost all the work himself, but with 2 kids and a third on the way, this can't have been easy on either of them.
It's been difficult, but you took quite a lot of the slack at home, haven't you?
Yeah.
Which means that I've been able to work much later than I normally would do.
When the kids have gone to bed at night time, we've had a bit of a debrief some nights on what can I take off you to make the job a little bit easier. On a day that I'm not in work, I've picked out samples of wallpaper, paint.
Yeah, just taking all the paperwork and all the sort of the admin aspect of it as well, really. Stuff that,
the organisation.
The organisation is probably a better way of putting it.
This is how we do it.
What a team. And I know about teamwork. Never underestimate how much hard work these developments are, whether that's knocking down a chimney breast or having to manage a job, a development and a family all at once. Hopefully though, their hard work will have saved them some money. How's that budget gone?
The original budget was 7,000 that we planned for. We had a contingency, we were up to about 11.
Up to about 11 contingency. It came in at 7,900 and then £1,500 on fees. So we're well within that altogether.
That's a spend of £9,400 for the development, on top of the £67,000 they paid at auction. I'm impressed. But will it impress some local property experts? We've asked along 2 to get their opinion. First, the agent who saw it last time.
It's much better than I last saw it. It was quite dark and tired and old-fashioned. They really brightened it up, taken out some of the items that needed removing, like the water tank upstairs and the fireplace in the kitchen. So yeah, it's a much better property altogether.
It looks really, really nice. It's been done up to a really good standard. The kitchen, nice and modern, and also the colour scheme's quite appealing. It's not too drab.
John and Zoe have spent a total of about £76,000, but when we last spoke, they weren't sure if they'd sell or rent the house. Let's get some valuations to help them make their mind up.
I think you'd expect to achieve probably in the low 90,000, somewhere between 90 and £95,000.
In the current market, the vendor would be able to achieve £94,000 to £99,000.
If you were putting this on the market for rental, you'd set an asking rental of £475 per calendar month.
The landlord would be able to achieve rental valuation of £525 per calendar month.
We were thinking about renting for short term and then maybe selling in about 6 months.
Those resale valuations could mean a potential pre-tax profit of between £13,600 and £22,600 if they decide to sell on. And the rental yield, even with that lower estimate, would be about 7%. Good news whichever way they decide to go. So, what do they have planned?
Have the baby and then maybe think about another one in the summer.
Baby or a house?
A house.
Well, that's all for today's show. Join us next time when we find out who bought what they paid for it, how and what they did with it.
We look forward to seeing you next time.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.